And we are back. Now, for the next trailer that we are about to watch, actually, before we go and talk about the trailer that we have in store for you, I just want to go and acknowledge that, yes, we are aware that Disney did release the teaser trailer for the live-action remake of Lilo and Stitch. But I don't know if there really is that much to go and comment because it's literally just 30 seconds of Stitch destroying a sandcastle. So not much to really go and comment or to really make a segment about. But the next one, though, oh boy, do we have a lot of things to go and say. Now, Sarah, you've seen the How to Train Your Dragon films, right?
Of course. Yeah. I love them. I haven't seen them in a while, but I love them. I saw them all in theaters. Seen 1 and 2 a couple times at home. I love them. I love the world, love the characters, love the animation, you know?
Oh, of course.
Adorable dragon designs, too.
Just
cute.
just curious, did you also see any of the shows that they have made of How to Train Your Dragon?
That I did not see, unfortunately.
Honestly, I haven't either, but I've heard some good things about them.
Really? Okay. Because I was just so burned from, like, Penguins of Madagascar, you know? That's probably, like, I've seen too much of that.
True. Well,
I
at
think
least...
the Kung Fu Panda show, yeah.
Or at least, like, the main one featuring, like, the regular cast, like, with Hiccup and stuff like that. The new one that is, like, set in modern times, like that one, from what I've heard, it's like, I don't know, it's a bit iffy.
Set in what do you mean by set in modern times?
You don't know. There's a new How to Train Your Dragon series that it recently came out like a year or a year or two ago that is actually set in today's age, and we get to see like new dragons, and one of them just so happens to be the kid of Toothless and Light Fury.
Okay, I'm morbidly curious to check this out.
That is a thing. Go look it up.
At least they're doing new stuff with it, right? So I'll check it out.
Yes, that is true. But before you go and check that, actually, first we will have to see the theatrical return of How to Train Your Dragon. But you will see that the look is a lot more different than you may remember. So with that said, now let's go ahead and check out the teaser trailer for the upcoming live-action remake of How to Train Your Dragon. And that is How to Train Your Dragon, the 2025 live-action remake, to which the film shall be released in theaters on June 13th. So, Sarah, what did you think of what we have just witnessed here?
I am so sick of live-action remakes of animated features. I don't know if there's been one that has hit for me. I mean, I liked the Jungle Book one back in the day, but I can't stand these. Like, the original film of How to Train Your Dragon is great already, and the animation has such a distinguished look. And then when you look at this, it just looks like a really drab, dried out world. And then you have, you know, a decent, more realistic Toothless that doesn't look like, you know, horrifying or anything, like original Ugly Sonic or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, why would I watch this? I just want to watch the original movie, you know? Like, what's the point of this, you know?
Yeah.
I guess.
Nah, I understand. In fact, I actually have the perfect reaction. Honestly, after watching this the first time, I felt like Gober in the second film, like right over here.
You just have to handle it delicately, so...
You might want to take this one.
Yeah, that's literally how I felt. I just looked at that trailer and I'm just there like, oh boy, we're really doing this, are we?
I know, it's like I really like I mean, have you liked any of the ones that this is DreamWorks' first live action remake?
Mm-hmm.
God forbid we get like a Shrek one sometime. But have you ever liked any of these like live action remakes of animated movies?
Not necessarily. I mean, like, there are some that honestly I would say that they could, like, there are a few that I would say they're like okay maybe, but there's a lot of
Hey,
them
there you
that
go.
there's a lot of
Okay,
them that's
maybe the
like,
best you could say.
but most of them, like, they're just like, they very much are unnecessary and they feel like a significant downgrade. Not to mention, like, the CGI in them are like terrifying. Like,
Yeah.
the Little Mermaid from last year, I consider that to also be just okay, but my God, the CGI on like
Oh, I forgot that.
Sebastian and Flounder and stuff
Ugh,
like that,
it was awful. I mean,
it's
it was
nightmare
so bad.
inducing.
Ugh, and then most of the time they'll like make the songs worse by like adding like crappy auto tune and stuff like that. But yeah, like again, the original one exists and it's great. So just let's watch that. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Money.
do you want to but do you want to know the thing that I personally feel like is so mind-blowingly dumb about How to Train Your Dragon in particular? Because this is not just the first time that Universal is going to be doing this, but keep in mind this is also I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the first ever live action remake of a computer animated film. Because previously, it's all been hand-drawn animated features. So with this,
You might be right. Well, I mean, yeah, it beat Moana by like a year or whatever.
exactly. So imagine this. The thing is that with these live-action remakes, some could make the argument of, okay, well, you're taking one film medium and you're transforming it into something else. Like you're taking, like, for example, the Lilo and Stitch one, you're taking a 2D character like Stitch, and now you're transitioning him into 3D. What are they doing with the dragons? They're taking CG dragons and they're turning them into CG dragons. But this time around, they're putting in a different filter where now you take a look at Toothless, and it's just that here, let's get rid of that. Like you look at Toothless and
so much less adorable.
yeah, like now his texture pops out a lot more. Like now he's a lot more scaly. They're putting in so many details on his eyes and stuff like that.
It's weird because like the humans don't look like that and the dragons look more cartoony, but they don't look cartoony enough. It's like, exactly, it just makes me like, why does it need to exist? And look, my favorite animated movie of all time is Toy Story 2. That didn't need to exist. They did amazing stuff with that. They did not retread the first one at all. This is just a retread of a beloved movie. So
yeah, and so far from what we have been seeing in this teaser trailer, like, yeah, I know it's just a minute long and stuff like that, and like we didn't see much, but so far a lot of it feels like the exact same thing. And the biggest thing it wants to highlight is the first bond between Hiccup and Toothless, which they made a shot-for-shot remake. So at that point, I'm just wondering, what new are you going to do with this film? Will you add like something fresh with it? Are you going to make a significant update? Or is this going to be like the Aladdin remake or the Lion King remake, where you're just literally creating the same film, like nearly shot by shot, but now in live action?
Well, I'll say this with Aladdin and Lion King. Lion King wasn't live action, of course, it was animated, but that remake, like, they added things that like did not need to be there. Like they had like that subplot with Simba's mom, I believe, or whatever, that was like really annoying in the first in that Lion King movie. Aladdin had another subplot with like Jasmine's friends and stuff that was really annoying.
Oh, I hated Jasmine's friend. Oh my God, that addition was awful.
They're just bloating the runtime, so it's now not even like I love a great long animated movie. I love a great short animated movie, and a lot of these movies had brisk pacing. They didn't feel overlong and everything like that, like the original Lion King and the original Aladdin and stuff like that. And they just bloat this runtime I don't know, so that they could get more streaming hours on like Disney Plus or whatever. I mean, this wouldn't be Disney Plus, but you get my point. It's just unnecessary. They're adding in more crap that doesn't need to be there, not changing the core essence of the movie, and just doing that original movie but worse.
You know what I would
Like, they really-
consider? You know what I consider to be one? You know what I consider to be my favorite that they did? It's like it's also like the worst, but it's also like hilariously stupid that they've done. Do you remember in the Lion King remake the journey of Simba's little hair to go to Rafiki? Remember how they dragged that on, and even showing a moment of how it turned into poo during the process?
I barely remember that movie, so I want to see this clip again. That's hilarious. That's awful.
Oh my god, it's like it's so dumb, honestly. That's the one addition. It feels so like it fully
bad.
proves like the absolute padding they would go. But it's like it's so funny that like millions of dollars had to be spent just for the journey of that little hair. It's like-
Literally, yeah, and like, they butchered so much of the music. Like, I just can't wait to be king. Like, just sucks compared to the original. And then like, I don't even know if they even attempted to do "Be Prepared," which is my favorite song from them.
no,
It's like, it was,
they
like,
have
such a
to be
lame,
prepared.
lame, so bad. It was so bad, so bad. The classic like, the Mufasa death scene and everything. Like that was done so horribly compared to the original. Like the no has been memed to death. Like all that stuff. It's just like, that one really ticked me off because I love Lion King OG. But yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. But the point is, it's like with these remakes, like so far, they have yet to really justify their existence. And so far, I'm like, even though it's just like a short 1 minute clip, I have not seen like what extra are they going to do with How to Train Your Dragon. Now, the one thing that is worth noting that I think it is worth addressing that is giving people some hope for this is that this movie is going to be directed by one of the directors of the original film, Dean DeBlois. He is going to be in charge of this and trying to bring this whole movie to life. And I mean, technically, you could argue that it does look good so far. It does look like what they're trying to pull with a live action How to Train Your Dragon, along with all the sets, with the costumes. Like
for me, I don't know. Yeah, like the costumes I guess are fine, but I don't like the color palette of the film so far, and the sets just look so much less vibrant than the animated movie for me. Bringing him back though, he did do. I think he wrote and directed 2 and 3 solo as well. So at least it is somebody familiar with the films and with the creative mind behind the films.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like he has, like I definitely love what Dean DeBlois has done, and I especially love what he did with the sequels. The second, I actually consider that to be my favorite of the How to Train Your Dragon films.
I gotta rewatch them all, really rank.
But I will say that with this one in particular, it's just I don't see anything that is really impressing me. And honestly, I just like all I see is just How to Train Your Dragon again. Like so far, I've yet to see anything that is new, anything to justify why How to Train Your Dragon needs to be remade, or especially why do we need to bring these computer animated dragons and have them updated to look live action. It's just like that thing in itself I just found to be so confounding. It's like why would you go and do this? It feels like you're just you're literally copying you're literally copying assets of what DreamWorks Animation has done and then paste it. Like you might as well have it be a small budget because like a lot of the animation has already been done back in like the late 2000s.
Yeah. And I still think, the original film holds up. I don't think it's like I could even like I love Toy Story 1. If they made an animated remake of Toy Story 1, that wouldn't be like the biggest waste out there, if they just not even remake, but they just re-rendered it, because some of Toy Story 1 doesn't hold up. I think How to Train Your Dragon, like the animation still holds up and everything there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just biased, but yeah. I really don't like animated remakes trying to be realistic, like Lion King and crap like that. So
Yeah. No, I understand. I feel the same way. And even with this, it's just, yeah, no. I think, I don't know. At least in my opinion, so far, even though I wasn't as impressed by the teaser trailer, but considering both of these films are coming out at the same time, I'm definitely going with Elio over How to Train Your Dragon. If I have
easily.
To pick.
I'm literally gonna not support How to Train Your Dragon financially. I'm not gonna see it. Like I'm literally gonna skip it. I just can't. Like I'm not gonna give this money.
Yeah, honestly, I sadly don't have much of a choice. I have to do it for my job. I got to review it.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I was like, with all this stuff with Pixar, at least they've never remade any of their movies.
Yeah.
Like, live action. So that's something. And if DreamWorks does another, what would they do next?
I don't know. Like I feel like the worst case scenario, like the nightmare scenario would be if How to Train Your Dragon does turn out to be successful, like it would influence other studios as well to go and do it. Like honestly, one thing that I feared is like they see how they see How to Train Your Dragon and how that does, and then Sony will get ideas, and then suddenly, Hotel Transylvania live action
Your
remake. Yeah, my favorite.
Your favorite ever.
Yum, yum, yum. My favorites. Live action remake. Let's go.
I definitely like that movie more than you, but one of the pros of that movie is, to me at least, we disagree here. I love over animation of a lot of the character movements and everything there, and that's going to be just lost with live action. So it's like
it wouldn't stop. I don't think it would stop Sony though.
Oh yeah, it's not going to stop Sony. But one thing is like they have one opportunity they could do, which would be make a live action Shrek. Don't make it based off the first one. Make a new story that parodies these live action remakes that Disney's been doing, because the original Shrek was a parody of a lot of Disney stuff. So they could do something there if they did like a live action Shrek that's a parody of all of these crappy live action remakes. I don't think they're self-aware enough to do that nowadays.
Yeah, so that's the thing. It's like you do have an idea right there, but I don't know if they would take it that far.
They would never.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think we've pretty much summarized our thoughts on the How to Train Your Dragon teaser. So far, we're really not impressed by it, but who knows? Maybe by the time the next trailer does come along, maybe they'll show us something new. But if you are interested in the How to Train Your Dragon remake, then keep in mind that it will be coming to theaters on June 13th. All right, now with that said, let's go into the chat wall, and let me ask you all, what did you all think about the How to Train Your Dragon teaser? Did you guys actually like this, or were you turned off by this? Let me know what you all think. All right, let's see what we got here now. We have both Chris Sanders related remakes coming out this summer, and guess what? We are mostly mad. How to Train Your Dragon remake looks exactly the same. If I want that, I'll watch the original. At least the visual effects for Toothless looks great. I'll give them that. I would mostly say the same thing about the Lilo and Stitch remake. At least Chris Sanders is back as Stitch, and the visual effects on Stitch looks pretty good. Overall, it's all unnecessary. Yeah, exactly. Like, the work that will be done on that, like, in terms of the visual effects, maybe it won't be that bad, but still, though, it's just, you're putting your talents on that?
Hundreds of millions of dollars in this, yeah. Mm-hmm. The one thing about the Stitch movie is, like, it's directed by the person who did Marcel the Shell, which was really cool.
Yes.
We've had, like, what's his name? The writer of a lot of movies I like, the Girls and stuff like that, if you've ever seen that movie. But he wrote like the Lady and the Tramp remake, and it was still, none of his voice was there. So I literally can't be like, oh, well, this great director or writer is back for these live action ones to add their own voice, because it seems like these studios just mandate what's in the movie at the end of the day, and they don't really get much of a creative vision. But if the Marcel the Shell director puts his vision in Stitch, it could actually be good. But so far, I'm not thinking that's going to happen.
Well, I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see on that. We'll wait until we have a real trailer, not just Stitch taking down a sandcastle.
I mean, like, how is Pleakley gonna look? Like, there's gonna be questions.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. That's going to require a lot of
legit.
makeup to go and cover
That's why they
that
didn't
mess.
show it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's gonna be
All right. That trailer just made Elio even more of a must-watch. As someone who considers the original one of DreamWorks' best movies, this whole thing just feels so empty. I guess the cast is okay and the visuals are fine, but at the same time, my big question is why? Do we really need a remake that just gives it the Lion King treatment? Needless to say, I will not be watching it, but at least there isn't going to be something as bad as The Scuttlebutt. That song was ass. Oh my god,
Oh,
yeah.
don't remind me of that.
Yeah. It's like, speaking of unnecessary padding, oh my god.
I hate that it's an awful, awful song, but it's catchy, which is not a good thing. So now it's playing in my mind, that freaking awful, like, bridge part. I'm like, oh, okay, we gotta not think about it. It's the scuttlebutt. Yeah.
Oh god, no. It's like, how is this from Lin-Manuel Miranda and Alan Menken? Two legendary names, and then you come out with the freaking Scuttlebutt?
Yeah, honestly, I think like they added 2 or 3 songs to Little Mermaid, and like they all sucked.
I mean, honestly, the only additional song in any Disney live action remake that I could think of that's actually kind of enjoyable is Evermore in Beauty and the Beast, the Beast song. Like, that one I thought it was good. The rest is like, nobody remembers them.
Beauty and the Beast was one of the better ones of them, but to me, it's still like massively forgettable. And I think about the original movie every time I think about Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah. Let's see now. DreamWorks has become what it is set out to destroy. I can't believe I'm saying this, but this actually looks worse than Disney's live-action remakes. This looks so lifeless, and the dragons, Toothless especially, looks horrific in live action. Like you said, AniMat, Toothless was already CGI. We should have been easy. It should have been easy to translate, but he looks like a puppeteered corpse. They didn't even get Hiccup right, and they didn't even have to have that much. They didn't even have to do much to get it right. All right, let's see.
Well, speaking of puppet, it would have been kind of cool if we got like a toothless puppet, like, creature shop design or something in this.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
that would be something interesting.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
But of course they wouldn't.
Man, now we are at the point that other studios outside from Disney are making live action remakes to animated movies. What world are we living in? While I'll give it that the remakes looks nice, it just feels like a shot-for-shot remake of the animated movie, but have it feel more empty. If this is going to be a shot-for-shot remake of the animated film, then it's going to have the same problems as the 2019 Lion King remake, and it'll feel unnecessary. So yeah, not excited for this. All right, let's see what other comments. Okay, I don't usually rant on live-action remakes too much, but man, this really feels like they ruined the life out of one of the best animated films from 2010. It's like the live-action production used an animated film as a storyboard, and the movie is still 90% animated. Seems that Universal is now going to compete with Disney for live-action remakes, and the execs are scared of new ideas right now for some reason. Okay. I feel like this is arguably an even worse idea than the Disney live-action remake. Okay, hear me out. So far, all of Disney's live-action remakes were based on 2D movies. 2D animation doesn't have the same sort of detail that 3D animation does. Hypothetically, one could put more details into the costumes and settings that you couldn't in 2D. Adapting a 3D animated film into live action feels redundant. They can't bother to do the books to be different. Exactly. Like you could have done something like in the Jungle Book that mixes elements from the original movie and the book. But if you're just going to go shot for shot remake and just focus on the animated film, then at that point it's like at some point there will be nowhere where I'm going to not ask, why am I not watching the original instead?
I mean, like, it's insane that the Moana one's coming out, because that's even more recent than How to Train Your Dragon. In between a sequel for it. Did
you see the pictures with Dwayne Johnson as Maui?
The leaked picture. Oh my gosh, that was awful. That was awful.
You know the worst thing about it is that think about it. Minnie Maui might be in the remake, and we're gonna be getting so many uncomfortable close-up shots of his chest and his body. Do you realize how weird it's gonna be?
It's gonna be. Oh my gosh. Ugh.
It's like why
God.
would you do this to us?
That's funny. That's a scary thought.
All right. Let's see what other comments are there. Let's see. I read that one. I read this one. There is no need for Universal to make a live action version of How to Train Your Dragon because they already made a live action version of How to Train Your Dragon 14 years before How to Train Your Dragon even existed with the movie Dragonheart. Sadly, this remake doesn't have a CGI dragon with a Sean Connery voice. Yeah, that is true. We've already gotten like these dragon movies beforehand, so like, do we need them again?
Dragonheart.
I've heard it is interesting. Like it's one of those that has like a devoted cult following.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'll read one more comment and then we're gonna move on to the next break. Do we really need this remake to happen? I still remember the time when it was a rumor back in January of last year. And after seeing the trailer, yeah, Elio is better and more interesting by comparison. The world looks unimpressive. The CGI on Toothless looks the same, and that's it. Not gonna lie, the new Minecraft movie trailer looks more impressive than that. Again, Elio looks far more interesting than a remake. So, yeah, I guess it's safe to say that we're doing promotional work for Elio in this case.
For real.
But for those of you who are still curious about How to Train Your Dragon, then keep in mind that the movie will be coming out later in the summer of 2025 on June 13th.